Hey, and welcome to another installment of Geek Out. I'm Sam.
I'm Chris.
I'm Jake.
I'm Josh.
And we are back from New York and seeing just a whole motherfucking load of movies. Well, really, just Jake saw a whole motherfucking load of movies. We saw,
I saw one.
I saw.
I mean, we all saw movies, but
Josh, you see anything?
Just a lot of TV.
Jake is a liar.
yeah,
Typical Jake.
Typical.
Stupid Jake.
very stupid.
Yeah. Do you want to, while we're on the topic of it,
Yeah, let's get all the movies out of the way because I'm sure you guys have some fun adventures.
While it's fresh. Sure,
and
yeah.
you guys have fun adventures to discuss. I saw. I think I saw Sicario for a second time since our last recording, and you guys know how I felt about that. And the second viewing, I appreciated and enjoyed Josh Brolin's performance a lot more. Also, what's his face from Burn Notice?
Jeffrey Donovan.
One of my favorite lines. When the first time I saw it too, but when he goes, they're terrorists in Fiji, and he goes, "Stay out of Fiji, terrorists," and the way he says it is so fucking hilarious.
He's always got that really nasally voice.
And he also says, "I've got a boner," before one of the battles go down. Anyway, I also saw Everest, the movie based on the true story of the 1996 Mount Everest disaster. The movie is devastating because I didn't know much about that the fucking tragedy before I saw it. I mean, I knew kind of it, but I don't remember it being a thing. I was like 11, I guess, when it happened. But it's not a movie. There are moments of like the triumph of the human spirit and surviving, but it really is just a devastating tragedy. And there's some of just the most heartbreaking stuff you'll see. Jason Clarke gives a fantastic performance as the leader of the expedition. They basically commercialize climbing Mount Everest, and he's fantastic in it. Josh Brolin is in it as well, and just horrific, terrible conditions and heartbreaking stuff. It's got a really all-star cast. Like Jake Gyllenhaal, I totally forgot was in it. He's in it.
Sam Worthington.
Sam Worthington's he's kind of this light, this beacon of light in the movie.
A Terminator.
Yeah.
Well, so is Jason Clarke. He's
Jason
Sean
Clarke.
Connery
Yeah.
in Genesis.
Oh, there you go.
Not a Terminator though. Keira Knightley, but she was very good in it. She's very good. Everyone is very good in it. It's just you leave the movie and you just feel.
Is it like the perfect storm where you think everyone's going to make it home and not everybody makes it home?
Well, a lot of people make it to the summit. They make it to the top, but not all of them make it back. And it's one of those things where, unfortunately, with Mount Everest and the conditions, a lot of the area, the death zone, where a lot of people die, you can't recover the bodies, and so it's this tomb. And there's a moment when they're walking up and they see a body from a past tragedy.
Yeah, expedition.
And it's heartbreaking stuff, man. I mean, it really is. And again, it's based off of the true story. And
But then also those bodies do become sort of ad hoc mile markers, and so I remember hearing this interesting thing with Everest and other mountains. I'm sure.
Yeah.
That becomes those people, whether they weren't able to make it up to the summit or whatever reason they weren't able to make it back, their legacy still lives on, because we made it to Green Jacket or green shoes or whatever.
No,
they're still for the hikers and stuff like that, they're just as immortalized as people that have made it up and down.
Yeah,
really cool.
There's an unfortunate. Sam and I were talking about it a little while ago. And like you were saying, it's not a morbid thing, but there is this kind of tribute kind of thing to it. Obviously, that's not, they don't want to die on Everest, but there's this kind of
almost immortalized
thing to it that they talk about. But I saw it in 3D too, and it was more of a perception thing, and
you saw a bunch of stuff in 3D.
I did, yeah. And the thing is, when a character is killed, it's not something when a character falls off. There's a couple just rips your.
It's
heart
not like
out.
the Gaston death where they fall into.
No, I mean there's a moment where they talk about oxygen deprivation where they start getting really hot, and there's a moment where a character is asleep and he wakes up and he's on the edge of Everest near the summit, and he's waiting to the next day to get rescued, and he starts taking all of his jacket off, and he's like, I'm so hot, and he slips, and they don't. No slow-mo, no dramatic music, just silence. And Jason Clarke wakes up and he looks and he's devastated. He's like, and another character is walking has no oxygen left, and he's walking. You just see him walking, and just slips and falls. Again, they don't there's not this big like moment. It's a big moment without it ever being a big moment in terms of like there's not the slow mo, there's not the music, you don't follow the.
It's not like this big honorable death.
No, it's just this horrendous. It's over thing. I recommend the movie, but yeah, when I left the theater, I went with my buddy Matt and who had already seen it, and he's like, "Man, any problems you have after seeing that movie just seem so small afterwards." And the movie's taking a lot of flack, which in another movie I saw, The Walk, we'll talk about too. But a lot of people are really getting on the movie for like, why would anyone want to do this? Like, why? What's the point? Why should I feel anything for people who want to go to Everest? Why, walking across a tightrope, basically, in the World Trade Center? And I think a lot of it is this idea of trying to prove to yourself you can do something. I mean, a lot of the characters in the movie, this is the second or third time they're trying to reach Everest. One of the characters, she's done 6 of the 7 summits. She makes it to the top, and she does all 7 summits. So I think it's unfair to just kind of be like, oh well, they did, I've read people, they deserved it. What's the point? Why should we care? And I think the idea of trying to test the human experience and the human spirit, and they, in the back of my mind, they know that this is a possibility. Obviously, they don't want it to happen, but I feel like movies like this and events like this and explaining them, and the books were written about them are important. And I feel like there is this kind of great human spirit thing that's associated with movies like this. And unfortunately, there are tragedies, and that's what makes it dangerous. And they know that going into it. So I think it's really unfair for the stuff I've read about people saying that, what's the point? It's just pointless for them to do this. And I feel like, well, it's testing, like Apollo 13 and all these other things. Like always, you're trying to test and go one step further. So
yeah, entire reason why I have like a space program.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the idea of climbing Everest is still this big thing. And like you said, the unfortunate, the bodies that are left behind, there's just this testament to it, and like it's a thing they take very seriously. I think I was not aware that it became this commercialized thing. That kind of blew my mind, that you could pay $65,000 to go up there and
or try
to go up there. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's still this looming beast, but it's a rough movie to sit through. I mean, it is like kind of like the perfect storm. Some people make it home, but it's brutal. And so I was expecting more of like a movie about survival, and there are parts of it, but it's also, I think, very much a cautionary tale too. Is the idea of commercializing Everest, is that you can't commercialize this otherworldly Mother Nature type beast
to make it to the top of the world.
Yeah.
Now, you kind of mentioned The Walk.
Mm-hmm.
What were your thoughts on? Because
I think we talked about it once or twice on here.
I know I've slammed it to you guys off mic.
I think the trailer. I think we talked about the trailer like enough with The Walk. And I remember like when the first trailer came out, like a while ago, just that shot of it like going up the World Trade Center is like the director of Forrest Gump, Flight,
Back to the Future,
Castaway. And you just see Joseph Gordon-Levitt like, oh, like standing on the beam
before he speaks.
Yeah, before he speaks. There's a part of me that knows why you cast Joseph Gordon-Levitt in this and not just a unknown French actor, because But at the same point, it's like, well, then what's the point? When they showed the trailer where he speaks, and it's the true story of this Frenchman who walked across the World Trade Centers and basically made New Yorkers fall in love with the World Trade Centers in this daring act, because before they just saw it as two
file cabinets
in the sky.
Like an eyesore.
So. I was very put off in the trailer when Joseph Gordon-Levitt is like, I'm going to put a wire between the World Trade Centers and walk across, and the guy's like, good luck, it's like, bam, bam,
you get the Seinfeld music.
Yeah, I was like, oh no. And so I was really kind of not interested in it, but just one of those things. I was flipping through to see if there's any movies out that I hadn't seen yet, and it was available, and I had seen Man on Wire, the documentary, a fantastic documentary. It's on Netflix at the time of this recording, about the true life story. And for me, the thing that's fascinating about The Walk isn't necessarily, I mean, it's mind-blowing that the guy did this, did 8 turns back and forth, laid on the wire, did all these great kind of like, the salute to everybody, and survived to tell the tale. But how they went about getting the wire up there in the first place, it's not as simple as,
because they weren't authorized to do it.
Not at all. And it wasn't open to the public. It was open to the public, but like it was just, it's still, they were still working on it. And so the fact that they were able to get up there in the middle of the night spend hours upon hours and hours firing a bow and arrow between the two trade centers to get the eventual wire up, and they were at the time, they were against the clock. One of the guys gives up during the middle of it. The guy who plays John was it Raffio, or what the hell's his name in 30 Rock?
John Raffio.
John Raffio, my favorite character.
That was Parks and Rec.
Parks and Rec. What did I say?
30 Rock.
30 Rock. Yeah.
Come on.
Jesus. I don't deserve to be here.
Just get out.
Yeah.
Just stop.
Yeah. It's been real.
Walk out.
Yeah. So the whole idea of like how they went about this, the coup they called it, was fascinating, and it
looks like a heist movie.
It is very much so, yeah. And the accent grew on me in the beginning of the movie. I told Sam, I was like, dude, I don't know if you could ever watch this movie, because like the first shot of the movie is a close up of Joseph Gordon-Levitt's face. He's like, people always ask me why do you risk death? And I was like, I there was this like gut instinct. I had to stop myself from wanting to stand up and just leave, because I was like, no, I can't.
Kind of like me in the first line of the Dwayne Johnson Hercules.
Oh,
where it
yeah,
was like,
yeah.
Everything you know about this legend is wrong, and I was like, fuck this
I was like,
movie.
fine, I'm out. And so I was like, oh god. And they zoom out, and Joseph Gordon-Levitt, like, he's narrating the film, and he's standing in the torch of the Statue of Liberty, and in the background is the constant looming skyline with the World Trade Center. And it goes kind of through his life, and it
how up its own ass is the movie?
There's a couple points where the movie's very up its own ass.
It did look kind of up its own
It's
ass.
like the way it was marketed is like, you've never seen movies until you've seen The Walk, you fucking idiot.
Yeah.
And it's like, get out of here.
Everything you know about The Walk is false.
Yeah, I mean, well, the thing that they were
You've never
selling,
learned how to walk until you see The Walk.
yeah, to be fair, the thing that they were selling was like the last 20 minutes, like the but yes, it's like color saturation. Look at the scene transition. Zemeckis does this thing. I don't know, it's just like unnecessary comedic relief in that movie. Like, there's like a stoner guy that was never part of the group that's like, well, man, I'm freaking out. We're gonna walk across the World Trade Centers, man. Like, just unnecessary stuff like that.
So
I don't know,
Shaggy's in the
Scoob.
movie.
Yeah. Yeah, but for the most part, I mean, the cast is great. Joseph Gordon-Levitt's accent grew on me. I mean, he sold it, and he stuck with it, and he doesn't waver with it. And I feel like it's a really good performance on his end. And honestly, like, at the end of the movie, like, I fucking cried. Like, and it wasn't like it was like a misty-eyed, like a little thing. Like, it was really powerful the way, because obviously the World Trade Centers, it's so different now than when he walked across it, because the whole thing, how are they going to deal with September 11th? How do you deal with that? And the way they dealt with it was unbelievable and moving. The way they dealt with it were basically, I mean, spoilers, but in real life, after he walked across, was immediately arrested. But basically was pardoned as long as he did this walk in Central Park for free for kids. And he's like, of course. I love to walk on my wire. Like, I'll do this wherever you want. And they televised it, and it was a thing. And he became this kind of like celebrity and hero, and he signed the beam, and he was given this pass. And the pass was he could go up whenever he wanted to the top of the World Trade Center. And every pass that was ever given out has an expiration date. And his was the only pass ever given out that the expiration date was crossed out and it said forever. And the way Joseph Gordon-Levitt delivers the line "forever" is like the saddest fucking thing in the world, because the movie almost ends like a play, where he's standing there with his ticket, and he says the line "forever," and then it just fades to black on the World Trade Centers, and it's you have to see it. It's like unbelievably moving, and the perfect way to deal with it. I mean, they don't ever mention the date or the tax; you just know, and it's really powerful stuff. And the actual wire walker, what's his name? Philippe, thank you. There's something like two French names I could think, and he obviously he spoke about it in the documentary and in his book, and he was talking about how devastated. And he said, if they ever built trade centers again, he would walk across it. And of course they built one in its place, but it's something where it and like we were saying, he was. I didn't know this, but he was kind of largely responsible for helping New Yorkers really love the World Trade Centers, because they saw this feat of imagination. And this is something that since he was 17, the towers weren't even built yet. He saw a magazine article while he was going to get his tooth fixed, and he pretended to sneeze and ripped the page out, and he kept it for like years. Like, once they put these up, I will walk across them. And he followed through, and it's this amazing again, feat of like human endurance and the this imagination and this unrelenting spirit that he was going to put his wire and walk across, and he did.
So it's worth a $5 Wednesday.
I think so. And honestly, it's one of those things, like, I think it's worth it to check out in 3D. I know it's like $8 then, but I think for the actual walk in the end, they take their time with it. In real life, I think he was on it for like 50 minutes. I don't think it's the full time, but it's pretty amazing. The movie doesn't go out of its way to make you be like, whoa, look how scary it is, but it's definitely some harrowing stuff, and it's pretty. I mean, it was really well done, and I kind of went in thinking like, all right, movie, like, win me over, and it did in the end.
There was one other movie you went in like that for.
We both went in.
Yeah. Bridge of Spies. Fucking Bridge of Spies.
Yeah.
Which I think, like, an episode or two ago, we were like, man, the trailer for this looks like bland as shit.
Yeah.
And we'll see it because it's Spielberg and it's Hanks.
Yeah.
But it felt like a job.
It's bland as shit.
It
really
bland.
is. And I was talking to my parents about it today, and there are a couple moments that pay off in it. Some callback moments. Some very Spielberg moments that are just only he can do, and evoked emotion in otherwise a movie that I thought was just, I don't know, pretty boring.
The movie makes it look like this prisoner exchange is like the entire fate of the Western world hinges on this prisoner exchange.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say right now, it fucking doesn't.
No.
Like, and you don't even get that sense watching the movie.
Yeah, the actual moment itself isn't this, and maybe that was the point. I don't know, but like it, that like, hey, no one else knew about it.
There was more weight on the fight between Rocky Balboa and Draco Malfoy, Drago, whatever the hell his name is.
Yeah.
To end the Cold War than this for what was it, World War II?
No, it's still Cold War.
It's still Cold War. All right. So even more exact of an analogy.
Yeah. This is totally, speaking of Drago, I've been reading a lot about Rambo. His mother's maiden name is Drago, which I thought was funny. Anyway, I'll talk. We'll do a fucking freak out about Rambo some other time. But
speaking of Rambo, though, real quick,
yeah,
I just added it to my list on Netflix, so I might. Once you see Trouble with Tribbles, I'll watch First Blood.
That's good. That's good.
That's incentive for him. That
is very much incentive.
Baiting him, yeah.
I kind of want to watch First Blood with you.
Yeah.
With you. But yeah, Bridge of Spies, man, was pretty disappointing. The best part of Bridge of Spies was Sam Stone.
Ooh.
During one of the moments in the movie,
an actor, not even in the movie.
A woman started clapping. It was like, yay! And Sam...
Had a fucking stupid part, my
Sam
dad.
whisper speaks, stop clapping, this movie fucking sucks! I could tell Sam checked out pretty early. I checked out, like, not far after.
When they introduced Tom Hanks... Okay, Tom Hanks is reliably good.
When does Tom Hanks suck?
Yeah,
Never.
he kind of follows, like, the Christopher Lee rule. You can be in bad movies. You just don't have to be bad in them.
Yeah. I mean, if Tom Hanks wasn't in the movie, God help us.
Yeah. But when they introduce his character and you're kind of like, look how competent at insurance law this character is. And I'm just like, I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to show how, like, good of a lawyer this guy is. But fuck you.
Yeah. And here's something, too. Spoiler, but at the end of the movie, they talk about, they wrap up. Are you interested in the end of the movie?
Not
okay.
At all. I just put my hands over my headphones, as if
anything, he wants to hear it more.
Yeah, right. That's ensuring that I hear every single syllable.
Yeah, they do a kind of a wrap up, and they talk about this guy Donovan, the guy who Tom Hanks plays. He was basically employed by President Kennedy after the Bay of Pigs invasion to go and negotiate the release of like almost 2,000 people.
About 1,300, yeah.
He negotiated the release of almost 10,000. And I was like, where the...
A little over.
I was like, where the fuck is that movie? You know what I mean?
Yeah, unless Spielberg's trying to make Bridge of Spies like a franchise.
Yeah, the franchise. It's shared universe.
Yeah. The Donovan identity.
Yeah. 13 days shared universe. Yeah. That's a Cuban Missile Crisis, isn't it? But anyway, yeah. It's all Kennedy, man.
Yeah,
it's all Kennedy.
It's all the Cold War.
Teams up with Oliver Stone. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, boy.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I mean, well, here's the thing. I remember you were, kind of similar with Oliver Stone. I mean, I like Oliver Stone, and I like a good chunk of his movies, but
Yeah, he's hit or miss.
it's kind of happening with. I hate to say it, but it's kind of happening with Spielberg,
Especially 21st century Spielberg.
21st century Spielberg. Now we went back afterwards and we were like, okay, yes. I mean, you forget about some of the stuff. Like I liked War of the Worlds. I liked Munich.
I think it's pretty competent.
I'm not in love with Lincoln, but I think it's a fantastic movie.
Lincoln's my favorite 21st century Spielberg.
I don't even know if I've seen a 21st century Spielberg movie.
Never saw War of the Worlds, Minority Report.
I did see Minority.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tintin.
Nope.
It was good. I liked Tintin.
I haven't never saw War Horse.
Nope.
Don't worry about that. That movie has moments in
Nominated
it
for
that
Best Picture.
Yeah.
If that makes any difference.
Nope.
Well, here's the
Not
thing.
to me. Famously against the Oscars, Chris Nolan.
It was a bummer. I felt just bummed out. After Black Mass,
I wanted to like this movie.
After Black Mass, I was kind of like, fuck it. But after this, I was kind of like bummed out. I was like, I was pulling for this movie to like kind of be like, again, prove to me this is awesome.
And the thing is, there's all those reviews when it first premiered that it's got like a 91% on Rotten Tomatoes.
It's the same people that gave. It's the same idea like why War Horse got nominated for Best Picture. You know what I mean?
It's almost like, look, it's not a superhero movie. It's like, guess what? None of my favorite movies this year are superhero movies.
You know what did the Cold War
Fuck
better
you.
than Bridge of Spies? It has nothing to do with the Cold War. Winter Soldier. You know what I mean?
You know what did the Cold War better than Bridge of Spies? Literally any other fucking movie.
No.
Lassie Come Home. Better does Cold War better than Bridge of Spies.
No.
Like fucking okay, let's stick with Spielberg. Hook does a better job with the Cold War than fucking Bridge of Spies.
Yeah, and Hook, I know it's going to hurt a lot of people's ears to hear this. That's a movie that nostalgia.
It loses its way after he initially escapes from Hook.
If you love Hook and you feel nostalgic about Hook, don't watch it again. Because I did. And Spielberg even came out and was like, that movie,
a lot of it, he didn't get along with Julia Roberts at all during that shoot.
Yeah, I heard she was a nightmare. Although, I don't know if I ever told this on the podcast, I had like the biggest crush on Julia Roberts in that movie when I first saw it.
Because of Hook?
Yeah, I was like in love with Julia Roberts in Hook. I don't know. Again, I should have kept
one of like 3 acting roles for that young boy.
Yeah.
Dick Tracy, that, and then Can't Hardly Wait.
Yeah, it's a nostalgia movie where it's like, if you enjoy that film.
Yeah, I think that was
again.
him trying to recapture like the E.T. magic.
Yeah.
He was trying to go back to, I think he had kind of burned out a bit after working on Empire of the Sun.
Yeah.
Which I think is, criminally underrated.
Yeah.
I think, speaking of Spielberg.
What's your favorite Spielberg? Is it probably Indy?
Yeah, it's probably. I was actually about to say Last Crusade did a better job with the Cold War.
Yeah.
Again, there's Russians in it. King with a Crystal Skull does a better job with the Cold War than fucking Bridge of Spies.
Yeah.
You know what? I did see Crystal Skull, and that's 21st century
It is.
Spielberg, right?
2008, yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, ain't nothing but a hell.
So that's the one.
It's weird to me that we're never going to see an Indiana Jones movie with a Paramount logo ever again, just like we're going to see a Star Wars movie without the 20th Century Fox logo ever again.
It is going to be weird. Because they're owned by Disney now, Josh.
Yeah,
I saw that face.
The silent podcast.
I was just
strikes
remembering.
again.
Wait, no, they're not adding the Disney fanfare to it.
Amazing face work for podcast.
Yeah, but
You're like the Richard Crenna of podcasts.
I don't get that reference.
you need to.
You
watch
will when you
Rambo.
watch First Blood.
Ah!
You will. It's a little taste for you, Chris.
Okay, well,
Well,
he's
now
like
I
the
have to
Tribbles
watch it.
of
But
podcasts.
I had a Tribble in my pocket for
Though-
like a long time.
You did.
Tribble right over there.
Yeah. Though you did watch a Star Trek film.
I did.
Ooh.
I'm trying to remember.
You've seen exactly what 4 Star Trek films, not counting Star Trek 4. Now you've seen 2,
I
3,
saw 2, 3,
2009 Into Darkness.
4. So this is my 5th Star Trek film. And there's how many
Insurrection?
total?
You didn't see Insurrection?
I've never seen any of the
or
Next
Nemesis?
Gen.
Which one's the one with Tom Hardy?
Nemesis.
Yeah, you still haven't seen Nemesis.
I don't know if my Tom Hardy love is ready for that one.
Dude, Nemesis is better than Insurrection.
Hands down. Yeah, it's actually an
hands up
entertaining
even.
film. Yeah. Gotta put
Yeah.
my hands up.
And then I've
Put my
seen
hands
a
up
couple
like the ceiling
episodes
can.
of the original
Sure.
series. I owned a bunch of Star Trek Next Gen toys as a kid.
Yeah.
I had the Reading Rainbow.
Geordie LaForge.
I had that figure. He was my favorite character just because he looked cool.
Yeah.
The first thing I did when I bought it is I ripped off his visor just like popped it off. He had pink eyes.
Pink?
Yeah, his eyes
There's
were pink.
white eyes in the show.
Pink eyes for the toy.
Okay.
So I go by the
Come
toy.
on, Mattel.
I go by the toy continuity, Chris. Okay?
Oh.
The toy continuity.
It
is my
was
favorite.
that one episode where he got pink eye.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then I realized I was like, well, now I can't put the visor back on.
Yeah,
Oh, you
but yeah,
ruined
you
it
saw
for
Star Trek 4, The
I
Voyage
saw
Home.
Star Trek 4, and it was all because of Watch Mojo, the YouTube channel, because they had the top 10 best number 4.
Which
in
is
a
how you know they're
franchise.
running out of top 10s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then a top 10 worst number 4. And I believe Star Trek was in the top 10 best. Like they were like, it was a return to form. It was fun. It it sold well. It was blah blah blah. That was kind of like
Most
the
commercially
thing.
successful.
Yeah, I mean,
And-
depending on what your rubric is, yeah,
The
sure, it was a great movie.
The shot for me that was like, I just mentioned the same because we were trying to figure out a movie to watch, and I was like, the shot for me that sold me was just like Spock, Captain Kirk, and this chick sitting in a car in like 1986, and I was like, that interests me. And Sam was like, you want to watch it? Because like any
You don't have to twist my arm.
I have it on Laserdisc.
any like positive like I mean I would like to see that. We're gonna fucking do it. And like he was just like fuck it, and I was like fine, that's cool.
If you want to come over anytime and watch any of the first 5 Star Trek movies, I got them all on Laserdisc.
I'm going to wait on that one, but I appreciate the offer.
Yeah. I mean, we still got to do our pulp hero.
Yeah,
marathon.
yeah. But 4 was fun. I mean, it was really like I
The-
legitimately thought it was funny.
This is the make or break point.
Yeah.
It doesn't take itself seriously at all.
No, I thought it was funny. That's it. I mean,
Yeah.
it made me laugh. There was
Nimoy was so kind of like he felt that 3, which is his directorial debut, was too dark. Like Kirk's son dies, the Enterprise fucking blows up. He's like, I want to make a fun one,
yeah.
and so that's why I did Star Trek 4,
Yeah, and it was fun,
which for all intents and purposes is really a kind of a screwball comedy, Yeah.
It's the Police Academy of Star Trek.
Well, my
really
thing was like I wish they would have ended up in like Lethal Weapon timeline.
Oh yeah.
And so they show up with Riggs and Murtaugh.
Well, they're in San Francisco, so if anything, they should run into Dirty Harry. Callahan.
Oh, the Dirty Harriers would have shot all of them for looking like hippies.
Yeah.
Dirty
hippies.
Yeah. Don't call Dirty Harry. What is it? A double
double dumbass.
double dumbass. Yeah.
Double dumbass on you.
Yeah.
What was?
No,
Yeah, he
double
sees
dumbass.
he sees Captain Kirk eating a
On
hot
you.
dog with with ketchup.
Yeah.
He's like,
Oh shit. That's one of the all-time fucking scenes, man.
the all-time fucking scenes.
Yeah.
When he sees the one dude eat the hot dog with ketchup, and he's like, "Oh, you just
No. In the first Dirty Harry, where he's eating a hot dog, and he's like, "How long has that car been parked over there?" He's like, "Oh, he's like, call the fucking police." And then like he's eating a hot dog, and he hears the alarm go off. And he turns around with a mouthful of hot dog, and he goes, "Oh shit!" And he gets out, and he goes, "Halt!" with like hot dog still in his mouth, and the guy fires at him, and he kills, shoots them all. And does the not infamous, but the famous "Did you fire 6 shots for only 5" monologue, which I remember like as a kid. I meant like I lost math skills because I wanted to memorize the fucking monologue from Dirty Harry. It was
It's
very
funny.
important to me.
I knew that monologue because of The Mask.
Oh yeah,
where Clint Eastwood shows up as wait, he shows up in Casper. Sorry,
yeah.
yeah.
He does the
a bunch of famous people show up in Casper.
Mel Gibson
is
is credited.
he shows up in Casper.
Yeah.
Just be fucking because Casper like morphs into all these like celebrities.
We also just real quick, we watched Braveheart again, like it's one of the movies.
Oh yeah.
And we know it's a violent movie, but it's been a while since I've seen it. And like the first battle where like they're mooning everybody, bolts of light. He's like, shoots fire from his eyes, a bolt of lightning from his arse. I am William Wallace. The classic Mel Gibson just screams what you just asked or said, and he screams it back at you. That first battle is just so fucking awesome.
He'll just like hit a dude in the head with his sword, and the head will just like explode. Not like it lopped off, just like boosh.
Also, the scene where he maces the guy who betrays him in the face. Pause it when the mace hits the guy because it's perfect. Because for a split second they have the dummy head that looks nothing like him, and it just is like gel.
It's like an old man.
Yeah, like Donovan from fucking Last Crusade.
Yeah. What is happening to
and
me?
his fucking head explodes, and but no, I mean Braveheart's it's still fantastic.
Would you say it's the best directorial Gibson?
I don't know. I mean, it's the one that won him everything, but.
But it doesn't mean it's your favorite.
No, I mean,
Better than Passion of the Christ?
I bought that for like $6 and I watched it again with commentary, and there's still something like I don't know. I know that the movie is supposed to show like how violent it actually was because the paintings are like, look at how beautiful, not beautiful, but the crucifixion and it's like, no, this is like horrible. And they dislocate his shoulder to make his arm stretch longer. Just all these horrible things. But there's so many moments where like when the whip gets stuck in his rib cage, and I remember during the commentary, Mel Gibson's like, oh, like just throughout the movie they're like horrified. But I think like Apocalypto surprised the shit out of me. Like there was nothing going in that movie. I was like, why would this work? Like, why would any of this work? And it works like 100%. It's so fucking entertaining. But probably in terms of obviously scope and scale and everything, Braveheart. People forget about Man Without a Face, his first one, and that's a very intimate, independent film. Not independent, but it's very small in scale, and it's really well done too. But Passion of the Christ probably has some of his best.
Staging, storytelling,
just moments. I mean, the moment where Jesus is carrying the cross and he trips and falls, and he sees Mary's running after him, and she sees young Jesus trip and fall, and you can't help but get emotional watching some of those scenes and the way it's staged and
watching your son literally get beaten to death.
Yeah. And I think with the scene where she's cleaning the blood up after he's being whipped and stuff, and just so many little things. So. He's, like I said last time, he's doing Hacksaw Ridge, and I think they started releasing some pictures, and I think he's a fantastic, kind of like we talked about with Eastwood. I think Gibson's a fantastic actor, so is Eastwood, but I think both of their like true like talents lie in directing.
Like Affleck,
Affleck too. Yeah, again, this is not me saying that I think they're lesser as an actor, but I think like what I think shows what they really love now is directing. So
now, Chris, you finally saw The Martian.
I did. Yeah, it was
like Irish. I did.
Well, I work at an Irish pub.
Yeah,
and we have actual like Irish people that work there with us. And I have this nasty habit of like when I talk to someone for more than like 2 seconds to start imitating their accent, which I know for a fact is really annoying to people that have accents. Like Rick in our high school, you remember the British kid?
Oh
Rick?
yeah.
He hated talking to me because I would imitate his voice, and he thought that I was making fun of him. And I was like, no, it's just the thing that my tongue does.
Yeah,
ladies. But so I
talk dirty to me. Produced by Michael Keaton's son.
Oh, nice. Skip Keaton, not Skip. But so I saw The Martian. It was a movie that I wanted to see.
Into a Martian. Whoa.
It was a movie that I wanted to see as soon as I saw like the first trailers for it, and then for whatever reason completely brain farted on when it came out. And when you guys were talking about it
note to self.
Yeah, I was like, God damn it came out already. So yeah, I ran and watched that. I really enjoyed it. It was really good.
Did you see just standard?
No, I saw it in 3D.
Oh, you did?
Okay, yeah. Nice. So it was actually kind of funny. I didn't even mean to see it in 3D. I was just I was eating a sandwich at a.
I don't know how this is gonna. I mean, I'm excited to see how it becomes the 3D thing, but it's like, well, I did see it in 3D. I don't know how, but I was eating a sandwich, and there was 3D glasses in it, and I was like, not bad. No, I had the sandwich coming toward my face, and I was like, The Martian? Depth?
You know what? I'm just going to leave it at that. Yeah, that's exactly no. So no, I was just out to lunch, eating a sandwich at Jason's Deli over in Fair Lakes Shopping Center. Really nice place. Shout out to them.
Jason's Deli. Where's the?
Do you know where the Starbucks is?
Yes.
Over by Fair Lakes Shopping Center. Uh-huh. It's right there.
Okay, I don't think
it's in the same. That. It's in the same little autonomous unit.
Oh, gotcha. Nice word.
Yeah, thank you. I learned it from Mallrats. So I'm eating a sandwich there, and I have nothing to do. I don't even remember what day it was, but I had nothing to do. Mm-hmm. So I was like, let's see what movies are playing, and I just open up. I look at Centerville Multiplex, and I'm like, oh hey, they got The Martian still.
Yeah. And
then I looked at my watch, and I was like, it's like 1:45. They have a movie starting at 2:30. Sweet, I'm there. And I get to the movie theater, and the lady at the ticket counter is like, "It's in 3D. Is that fine?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, sure."
Yeah, to be fair, that's
so
exactly
your story was a lot better.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, that's exactly how the walk happened. Like, I was like, "Oh, it's the most recent, like the next showing's 3D." Yeah. I heard it was okay in 3D. Fine.
Yeah. Well, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. As someone who's such a big proponent of 3D, I feel like it was wasted. in the movie. Like, it didn't need to be 3D.
Yeah.
And like, it wasn't even like, oh, look at those grandiose, depths and stuff. Like, I didn't pick up on anything. If anything, I was actually kind of annoyed because a lot of their what's known as parallax, where like if you're looking off into the distance while you're moving parallel to what you're looking at, so like you're looking like out the window while you're driving down a car, and you see like trees that are lining the road moving really quick, but then you see like a mountain in the distance and it's moving real slow, and like so you're going around the roundness of these objects, but based on the distance away they appear to move at different speeds. That's parallax. I felt that a lot of the parallax of this movie was way off, and it's because it was all like CG mountain ranges and stuff like that. So I can understand, it being messed up, but at the same time, it's a high budget movie, guys.
Yeah.
So like that annoyed me, but other than that, like I really loved it, and it felt a lot like a Martian Apollo 13.
Yeah.
Much like your Everest.
Or Martian Castaway.
Yeah, even more so.
Yeah.
Since he was all by himself, and I loved how like the humor was like sprinkled in.
Yeah.
Because he's just a funny guy and he's talking to himself.
Yeah.
The camera's is Wilson. Yeah.
And like I loved it. He was like, I'm gonna science the shit out of this.
Yeah. We need potatoes. Xanax crushed on it.
Yeah. Because I can.
Because I ran out of ketchup.
Yeah.
That's when I would lose my shit. When I ran out of ketchup.
Yeah. No.
Game over.
When I saw him like just like the ketchup, I was like, dude, you gotta ration that shit.
It's ketchup, man.
And then like the next scene, he's like, ran out of ketchup 3 days ago.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah.
How about the reveal when he's like super skinny?
Oh, dude, seeing Josh play Matt Damon was crazy.
The body double.
just like the first Captain America movie.
I was about to say, second time I've done that.
Yeah. You're the skinny body double.
Yeah, not a lot of work, surprisingly, for that role.
Yeah.
Well done, though.
Yeah. Good job. Good job.
Yeah, they like built people.
Yeah,
go figure.
But yeah, no, it was really good, and the Iron Man moment at the end was fun.
Did the thought run through your head like it did mine, where I just kept thinking Jessica Chastain is so attractive? That just kept running through my head the entire movie.
No, the entire movie. I was just like, why? Why are you so pretty?
So attractive.
What? Whoa!
We're having an office debate, like the episode with Hilary Swank, hot or not? I say hot, but like
hot.
Yeah.
I would have said either the chick from *Halt and Catch Fire* or Kate Mara.
Yeah, you would.
I say Rooney Mara. Myself.
Just all.
That's not the game.
Yeah.
Who's the best, Sam?
Yeah.
The only way to win this is not to play.
Oh. You're the best. Hooray!
So Sean Bean for you.
Yes. Yeah. He's a legend.
Yeah. It's on Netflix. I'm excited.
Was it Michael Pena?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Anything he's in, man.
It's the German guy, but the
end of Watch, man.
Yeah. No, I mean I really dug it. I saw it yesterday with my dad. I stayed awake because I saw it in the middle of the day, and I saw what I missed last time, and I saw it in 3D, and I was like, I feel like Ridley Scott had a good time filming Prometheus in 3D, and that's why I did it for The Martian. I don't know if he did it with the Exodus Gods and Kings, but that movie fucking sucked. But who cares? Yeah. 21st Century Scott. 21st Century Scott, you get like Gladiators.
American Gangster.
You get American Gangster.
Which I think is a great movie.
Gladiators 99, so just misses that cut.
Yeah.
I enjoyed Prometheus so much so that I have it on Blu-ray.
I like the first half of Prometheus.
I like it.
Okay. But yeah, I love Newman. I'm curious to. I'm excited for the sequel mainly because it's not written by Damon Lindelof.
Right. That was I agree. I agree with most people that like complain about the writing on it. I'm like, shouldn't have gotten him.
Yeah. Why does it have to not be as overt an Alien prequel?
Yeah.
I mean, everyone kind of knew it was an Alien prequel, but Damon Lindelof loves that mystery. He also loves to make Star Trek fucking suck, so fuck you.
He basically likes to take franchises and shit on them.
Yeah. And create Lost. And then when everyone guesses that it's the afterlife, he's like, no, it isn't. And then he like shits on that, and then he's just a fucking asshole. Anyway, so
you heard it here first. Lost ended as an asshole.
Yeah, a shitting fucking asshole.
Like that scene in the Poultrygeist. Don't see it. It's a terrible trauma movie.
Fair enough. But the
I mean, if you like trauma movies, then it's great.
Toxic Avengers.
I don't. So
yeah, but
as an independent filmmaker, I hate trauma.
I guess
also, as a person,
yeah. But it's where James Gunn got to start.
Yeah, but no, I'm just remembering from one of the Comic-Cons, Chris, weren't we in?
Yes, we were. We were. for Poultrygeist. We were in like a little promo.
Yeah.
For G4.
Yeah.
In association with Trauma.
Back when that was a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, back before it was merged with Tech TV.
Yeah, Poultrygeist,
No,
only
still
movie
good.
I think I've ever walked out of.
Oh. I walked out of Dark Shadows.
Oh, I didn't. I mean,
21st Century Burton, man. 21st Century Burton.
Woo. I like Sweeney Todd.
Yeah. Actually, yeah.
I mean, I would say that could be best 20th century
Sleepy
or
Hollow?
21st century.
Sleepy Hollow is
That's
99.
20th century.
So close.
Yeah.
The Last Laserdisc. Come on, man. Keep up. 21st Century Burton, I think Sweeney Todd might be the best.
Also, Lethal Weapon 2, first movie to have a cell phone in it.
Oh.
Yeah, I've been doing some research on
Twister,
more Mel Gibson
first
movies.
movie printed on DVDs.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why I have it. And also why it's never been taken out of the plastic. Not because I'm saving it, but because I don't really care to watch it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was one of the. I grabbed that.
That's a
from Blockbuster
nostalgia. That's
Yeah.
a nostalgia.
towards
one.
the end.
Yeah.
Of
Yeah.
Is that cow flying?
Yeah. Watch the cow. But I think the big thing that we've kind of danced around is Chris and I went to New York Comic Con since the last episode. And you got to see the first episode of Ash vs. the Evil Dead and the first episode of X-Files.
Back to back, even.
As a matter of fact, keeps everything intact.
Yes, all of that. What was it? Saturday? I woke up bright and early at like 6 o'clock in the morning. Technically didn't sleep at all, but that's a completely different story about the apartment that I was staying in almost burning down. I might get to that later if we have time. It takes me a long time to tell the story. I've told it like 5 times. So I get out of the apartment at like 7 o'clock or 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning, get to the convention center because I'm like, I need to see the X-Files panel. That's number one thing on the docket today. If I get to go to the Ash versus the Evil Dead panel, even better day. But like they are literally back to back. Like I have like 10 minutes basically to get to where the Ash versus the Evil Dead panel is, and it's not even at the convention center. So I've already made my peace with not seeing it. So I get to the convention center, get in line. Like they haven't even opened the convention center yet. I'm lining up around the building. They cart us into the Q hall and have us all line up there for the last hour before the convention center actually opens. Really nice is on one side of the Q hall they have like everyone that are just like trying to get into general admission of the convention center, and then on the other side they have like pre-lines for everything going on in Hall H, or it's Hall H at San Diego Comic-Con. It's Hall D at New York Comic-Con because they don't have an H.
Dumb.
God, Josh.
Well, it's obvious. All you New Yorkers want the
when
D.
he looked at me when I said Hall H, I was just like, "You son of a bitch."
I'm just gonna let you roll with that one.
Nah, I'm not
Josh,
gonna.
he does a classic.
Yeah, that's exactly what it sounded like and looked like. So I'm lined up. They have it separated into each line that people wanted to get into. So they had the Firefly reunion. That was the first thing of the day. The X-Files line. The last Witch Hunter
King of Scotland
line.
Oh, you know what frightens me?
Huh.
Nothing.
And then something else.
You're being hunted.
Ooh.
You know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna watch The Last Witch Hunter on a discount day. On a discount day, by the way.
Bravo, Sam. Bravo.
But
Can't do it.
you can't. Nope.
As much as I want to play D&D with Vin Diesel, not
Elijah
like that.
Wood is in it, which is cool.
Yeah. So is Rose Leslie from Game of Thrones
And Michael Caine.
and Michael Caine.
Caine.
But Michael Caine's also in Journey to the Mystery Island. That movie.
And Jaws 4: The Revenge.
yeah.
My first DVD I ever bought.
Yeah.
He's never seen it. You've seen it more often than he has.
I have.
I've seen it more often, and that's only once.
Literally, anybody has.
Anyone who has seen any portion of that movie has seen more of it than Michael Caine.
So me and him have seen it about the exact same.
About.
About,
Have
yeah.
you seen the trailer for it?
Nope.
Yeah, and yeah. He's seen Jaws 19 more than he's seen Jaws for the Revenge.
I
but
believe it.
So I get in line, and I'm waiting there for about an hour before they give us wristbands that allow us to journey back out into the convention. That like are kind of like a temporary holding spot. I get like cutsies in the line when people start lining up for the actual panel, because the panel itself isn't until like 1:00 in the afternoon, and we're talking like I'm here at like 9:00 in the morning, ready to go. Yeah. So whatever. I putter around for a couple hours. I meet up with my friends Nicole and Stephanie, and they were fun. They were dressed up as hipster Poison Ivy and Harley Quinn, and that was fun. Took a couple pictures of them, and then lined up for the show. Met up with a couple of my friends who were there, and we're sitting almost front row. It was so nice. I was like, I think maybe like second or third row. It was so cool. I could have thrown something at Kumail Nanjiani if I wanted to, who, by the way, was moderating the panel, and is in an episode some point in the season, and host of the XFiles Files, which is a great podcast if you like the X-Files.
Did you yell at him for his audio quality of the Indoor Kids?
No, because I'm not bitter. I've only listened to 2 episodes of that, so it's okay. But I should have. But no, I did yell about Krychek, because Chris Carter, like, someone came up and asked if the Lone Gunmen were going to be in the season, and Chris Carter confirmed that they are going to be somehow sprinkled in. Even though, spoilers, they died in the last season of the X-Files. But whatever. They were in the last episode posthumously. So like after that, I yelled out, Krychek! Because I love Krychek, and everyone loves Krychek. He ignored me, even though he totally could have heard me. I have a very loud voice, and I was right there. Anyway.
One of those things where you think you yelled it, but in reality you went, Krychek.
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 And here's somebody clapping. Don't clap. This movie sucks.
But yeah, so they showed the first episode, which so I got to see it in October when all y'all motherfuckers have to wait until January, and it was fun. One critique that I do have of it, and this might be more so the art school loser in me, or the film school loser in me. The pacing was a little weird. There was a lot of like quick edits and stuff like that, which is not a very X-File-y thing, and it would have been okay if like the script flowed that way, but like the script was still written in like classic X-Files, like kind of like slow, moody, let shit build, hold on to angles for a little while, because we don't have a lot of budget to do fancy edits and stuff like that. But like this was like, oh, we could change camera angles. And so like that kind of threw me off. Other than that, though, I would say that it's a return to form, and it's very good. Joel McHale's in the first episode. I hope he's in more episodes, but at the same time, it kind of felt like they wrapped up his character by the end of the episode. So who knows? Yeah, no, it was fun. I enjoyed it, and it was exciting being so close to David Duchovny and Mitch Pileggi. Unfortunately, Gillian Anderson was off somewhere in Europe doing something, but she sent a video saying, "Hey."
Not Hannibal.
Nope. She sent a video using her weird fake British accent that she kind of Madonnas every once in a while, saying, "Hey, I hope you guys enjoy the show." And then so that ended, and my friend Colleen and I booked it because we had to get to the Hammerstein Ballroom, which anyone that knows anything about New York, that's pretty much at Penn Station.
Yeah, the stuff at Hammerstein was, for those not in New York, is not part of the convention center.
Yeah, it's a good, I want to say 3 long blocks. Like not, it's you
straight down 33rd.
Mm-hmm. 34. Oh, 33rd. It doesn't matter. 3. You had to cross. You had to get basically to like 7th Avenue, and the convention center is on 11th Avenue. and the space between the avenues is really long. It's basically like 2 blocks.
The space between... Nobody likes Dave Matthews Band?
No.
Good,
God,
because
no.
I've seen him twice, and I don't even like him.
We're all Virginians, and we all hate Dave Matthews.
Yeah. How do you guys feel about 311?
I
Hate
can't
him.
stand him.
Love him.
Yeah.
Jimmy Buffett?
Hate him.
No, I'm not a
Yeah.
parrot head, no.
Yeah.
Cheeseburger in Paradise. Fuck you.
Can that be the name of the... I like Buffett. Kind of. I mean, kind of. Like, I understand people who don't enjoy him, but I can get behind him. I'm not going to go to a concert.
You're not a parrot head.
No.
But you appreciate.
I can enjoy Cheeseburger in Paradise. I can enjoy Volcano, whatever the volcano one is. Anyway, so I
Volcano
hightail
in
it.
Paradise.
Yes. That's going to be the name of one of my movies. Thank you, Jake.
You're welcome.
You just got a starring role.
Yes.
And Josh will be the skinny version of you.
Yes. It won't be. It'll just be a skinny Jake and then a Orby out of shape Jake, like the reverse of Captain America.
Yeah.
You put him in the machine, I just get worse. They're like, "What did you do?"
Somehow.
I just ate Doritos and watched Gilmore Girls. Yeah. If you want this physique, lots of Doritos and Gilmore Girls.
That physique. But yeah, so you rushed.
So I rushed over there. My friend, our friend of the show, Ken, was already there because he was also at New York Comic Con. He was already there saving seats for us with Colleen's girlfriend, Julie, which was nice because Julie wasn't up to date on XFiles. So she was like, I don't want to have everything ruined by watching the first episode, which was like, okay.
Fair. That's fair.
Yeah. I'll give her that. So they met there at the Ash vs. the Evil Dead line, and like we kind of like through texting them introduced them to each other, and they met, they got friendly, and then saved some seats for us. It took us so long to get there, just because it's so far away, and we were trying to move as quickly as possible, that they had actually closed down the seating, the Hammerstein, it's a ballroom, like, and there's like mezzanines and stuff like that you can sit on. They had closed down the floor, so we had to be like, no, our friends are in there, they're saving seats for us, and to the point where like they were like, you gotta have them come out and get you then, because we're not gonna let you just walk in there. So we got in. Got to see the first episode of Ash vs. the Evil Dead, and then they had a Q&A with Sam Raimi, Bruce Campbell, Lucy Lawless, and the 3 like new additions to the show. I unfortunately I forget their names right now, but the Ash's team of peeps that are in the show, and
The poor bastard sucked into the whole thing.
yeah, basically, by proxy. I gotta say, I thoroughly enjoyed it. Like, I don't have stars, and stars is too expensive for me to just be like, yeah, let's throw it on. But like, I'm very tempted to try to find a way to get stars.
Yeah.
More Evil Dead or more Army of Darkness?
More Army of Darkness, in the sense that it's very much a humor-based show. It's comedy first, but for anyone that's worried, anyone that's like, no, Evil Dead 1 or Evil Dead 2, they're the best of the series. There is a shit ton of gore because it's on a pay channel, so they can do all kinds of shit. There's heads exploding, blood everywhere. It's just done in a very comedic way.
Nice. I saw it. I mean, I've seen at San Diego there was like a trailer for it that I came across, and I just stopped and watched it, and it was awesome because I haven't watched much of anything that they've released because I don't know how I'm gonna find a way to one of us.
I mean, Josh has stars.
Oh,
he
okay.
raised his hand. I don't know if you heard him when I was. When
I
was
blinked, so I missed it.
But so party at Josh's.
Party
house.
at Josh's and Studs.
Party all the time.
Have you watched that yet?
No, you know what's really funny? You know what's really fucking funny?
I just remembered that I got
You know
that
what's
for you.
really
What was it, last Christmas?
No,
Or
it was
your birthday?
Yeah.
Was it this,
Party at Kitty and Studs is what we're referencing, kids, and it was renamed The Italian Stallion. It's a softcore porn that Sylvester Stallone is in that Chris bought for me. Here's the funny thing: I put it in my car, and when I went to San Diego, I left the car at my parents' place, and my mom saw that I had like stuff in my car, and so she freaks, so she just like cleaned the entire car. Right? They must have come across that DVD. and they haven't said anything, which I'm almost positive means they came across that DVD and don't want to ask why I have Party at Kitty and Studs. Well, it's called the Italian Stallion. But I can only imagine.
Yeah, the DVD is the Italian Stallion.
Yeah, the Italian Stallion.
Does the DVD cover look particularly?
I think he's wearing like an overcoat on the front.
Yeah, it just looks like an old Sylvester Stallone movie. And nowhere, if I remember correctly, nowhere on it does it say the porn that.
No, the porn. You wanted it.
You wanted the Italian Stallion. Yeah. You got the Italian Stallion.
Hey, yo. It's going back to
I'm like a horse.
Going back to
Dicks.
the Evil Dead. I know, I doubt this will ever happen now, but I hope somewhere down the line, because I know they always were talking about, this is before the show happened, of Mia teaming up with Ash. Mm-hmm. I still would want to see that happen. I love too. Mia.
Someone brought that up.
Oh, really?
In conjunction to a question. So it was the episode first, then the Q&A, mm-hmm. and so someone was like, they made a lot of references to the whole the cabin in the woods thing, but they didn't say anything about Army of Darkness, the medieval mm-hmm. stuff, and why is that? And Sam Raimi, gently put sorry, we don't actually own the rights to the story from Army of Darkness. Mm-hmm. That's owned by the studio that made the movie.
Yeah, Dino De Laurentiis.
Yeah, they got to keep that. So technically, all three movies are owned by different people or groups. They were lucky enough to be able to kind of make a hodgepodge of Evil Dead and Evil Dead 2 as the backstory for Ash versus the Evil Dead, mm-hmm. but at this moment they are not legally allowed to use anything from Army of Darkness, and because of that, and because of the same type of thing, they can't really use anything from the remake mm-hmm. Evil Dead, because that too is owned by a different company.
Well, I remember the original ending was Mia walking down a road mm-hmm. and a truck pulls up and rolls in the window, and it's Bruce Campbell. Yeah. And then they change it to where he just goes groovy after the credits, which is still fine. But I would love to see Mia and Ash kick ass.
Yes, and Sam Raimi was like, if there's any way for us to do it down the road, maybe the rights change, maybe the show gets popular enough mm-hmm. that the people that own the rights for these other stories are see a viable future in it, they give them the allowance. He's like, we're the first ones to do it. Sweet. Because they're Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell are just as much fans of this franchise as any of us. Fans.
And that's like Todd McFarlane and Spawn.
Oh yeah. But I mean, that's the cool thing. It's always seemed like that's been since day one.
Yeah.
They've never been like, oh yeah, that was the thing we did, but I'm mm-hmm. doing Oz now, mm-hmm. Which I saw.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I
that's
still
cool.
haven't seen it.
It's all right.
It's one of the 21st century Raimis that I haven't seen.
Yeah,
it's all right.
He himself was he said in interviews since having to plug it, he was just like, I felt that one was kind of off.
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
it is.
It seems like he wasn't necessarily the best pick. I love Sam Raimi as a director, mm-hmm. but that doesn't seem quite.
He was the first pick for the Warcraft movie.
Yeah,
which we obviously passed
mm-hmm.
on that, but yeah,
there's some really just real in defense, not that we're ripping Oz, but there are some really wonderfully beautiful moments in the movie, and there's some really, because it's a prequel, so there's some very interesting ways of how and why he hides behind the curtain, little things like that.
People ask me why.
People ask me why do you fear death? I hate this word death. I always will not say it again. I've already said it twice, but I will not say it no more. That's the movie starts. People ask me why. His voice is exactly like the real dude's, though. It's not just a French accent. There's a little bit of a thing to it.
A little stank.
Stank. Do a little stank on there.
That local. Yeah. Bam.
Although the real guy, in archive photos of the Man on Wire documentary, looks like Matt Smith. It's freaky.
Should have gotten Matt Smith.
Should have got Matt Smith.
Yeah. But yeah.
Matthew.
And
look at my muscles.
And Kevin Smith was the moderator for.
Oh, that's so cool.
For the Ash vs. the Evil Dead panel, which was great because he was geeking out on it just as much as everyone else was. And little fun thing right at the end as Kevin Smith was like, all right, they're kicking us out for the like Adult Swim panel or whatever. Bruce, real quick, will you be in Mallrats 2?
Oh, awesome.
Bruce said yes.
Nice.
Yeah.
They're stacking that cast.
Yup.
Man. Stacking it.
Yeah.
Stacking that ass.
Oh, and also Bruce Campbell confirmed. Speaking of stacking
We
ass,
just let it go now, Sam. We're good. We good.
Bruce Campbell confirmed.
This moment of confusion. You're like, I just said that.
Yeah, nobody else acknowledges.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll just let that one slide.
Yeah, we got you. We got you.
No, speaking of stacking ass, Bruce Campbell confirmed where the Pontiac is in The Quick and the Dead.
Oh yeah, like
it's the chassis of the way.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying, like, to my knowledge, or from all the like quote unquote research that I've ever done, like Sam Raimi never really like publicly said where it was, but
you know what?
I saw Bruce Campbell told me.
You know what? 21st Century Raimi
it's a wagon.
kicks some hardcore ass. Drag Me to Hell.
Oh, I own that one.
Fucking fantastic
It's so good.
movie.
So return to
That's
form.
a return to form.
Oh yeah.
If anything is a
Outstanding.
return to form, it's that
Not
movie.
Bridge of Spies. People like Spielberg's back.
No,
he's like,
no.
yeah, he's back to like 1941 level shit.
Whoa!
I'd rather watch 1941 again. Cut it, print it. But
The
yeah,
movie 1941, not the year
yeah,
of our Lord.
1941.
Because I don't think Spielberg was making movies in 1941.
No, not yet. But yeah, it was.
And also, I got a foam chainsaw finger.
Yeah,
and I got one too, thanks to Chris.
Yeah, New York was. I think this was what they said. It was like the record year of attendance for New York.
It was.
Yeah, it was crazy, man. It was fucking bananas.
Yeah.
I was right there. I was working with Image, so thank you to Image again. And I was there right across from the Todd McFarlane, the McFarlane Toys booth.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to see Uncle Todd,
Our old friend.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
Todd.
the Todd father every day, even on the setup days. I got to give that guy credit. He was doing the little things like setting up the McFarlane toy stands and everything, and he knows how to work a fucking crowd because he was always like there. He was drawing like Spidey every day and showing people how to draw Spidey, and he was doing signings and all that. Yeah, it was. it was a lot of work. It always is, but it's a lot of fun. I got a bowl with the artist of Deadly Class and the East of West, and Jim Zub, who writes Samurai Jack for IDW and Skull Kickers and Wayward for Image, and it was just I got to see Jed Whedon, who doesn't write for Image, but the Marvel thing was right there, so I got to see the Jessica Jones set because I was at the Marvel booth for a couple days. Got to see her office. Yeah, it was just a lot of fun. I was more, unlike Chris, I was more bound to a particular station. But
I was a free bird.
Yeah, this was the first time I've been to New York where I only rode the subway once.
Rode it every day.
Yeah. Well, you're coming all the way from what, Brooklyn?
Brooklyn, yeah, all the way from Bushwick.
Yeah, taking that J, right?
Yes, to the M, to the 7.
To the
Well, the 7 now has a stop.
To the
right
young
there.
R, to the E, the B, to the E, the L. Never give up, just evolve.
Although depending on which day it was and which time it was, I was taking the J or the Z, which is where Jay-Z gets his name.
I feel like you're just throwing out letters now because I don't know what you're talking about.
Took the T.
Yeah.
For anyone that knows, there is no T line.
Yeah.
There was an H at one point.
Yeah.
And a
Little
W.
New York humor for you. Woo! Ain't no T.
Right
You crazy?
right on the BDSM line.
Yeah.
It's the BDFM.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
but people put an S there because of BDSM.
Ain't no T on me.
Got no strings on me. Oh, bop, bop. I got to play Mega Man. I didn't get to play Mega Man. I got to play Street Fighter 5 though.
Lies.
I know. I looked at Mega Man the entire because they had the Legacy collection there, and I was like, oh, fucking Mega Man, because like Mega Man is one of like my childhood fucking things.
Jams.
Yeah, like he's right up there with Zelda and Mario. Absolutely,
Mario.
because like he was
The Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah, every time. The Mario Brothers Super Show.
Take that, Zach.
Yeah, he's probably like rolling in his grave, and he's not even dead. This is probably what killed him.
He's sitting there.
Yeah, every time Mario. But Yeah, I was so happy to see Mega Man show up in the new Smash Brothers because for me, like, there's 6 fucking Mega Man games on the NES. So he was, by comparison, there are 2 Zelda games on the NES. There's like 1 Metroid game, there's 3 Donkey Kong games, and
there's like 12 Mario games.
Because he shows that he's always like in all the sports games.
Yeah.
He's always like the umpire or whatever, and he's always like, aha!
Or the referee in Punch-Out.
Yeah, or in Wrecking Crew, where he just breaks buildings.
With Wreck-It Ralph.
He might as, I feel like that's the basis. Like, that was the inspiration.
The highlight of my New York Comic-Con, though, if I may jump back in, not X-Files, not Ash vs. the Evil Dead, but my Pepsi Perfect bottle.
That's right. You came to the image booth, and we were like,
I had my 2015 Marty hat on, and I had my screen printed 2015 Marty shirt, and I was walking around just kind of, it was Thursday, first day of the convention.
Preview day.
Yeah, and I happened to walk past the image booth, and I'm like, oh, hey, what's going on, Sam? Literally, that's what I said. I have this weird...
Chicken Man.
It's like... it's like Tourette's, but... Instead of swearing, it's that. You'd think that it's that I would explain my dick jokes with that, but no, it's but yeah. So I'm talking to Sam, and then one of the other image guys comes by and asks me if I got the Pepsi, and I'm like, no, I'm trying to find where they have it. And both of you were like, why don't you go to the Cafe 80s? And I was like, what? Yeah. They have a Cafe 80s
It's like,
booth?
yeah, it's literally right over there.
Yeah, it's out front. Problem is, I didn't go through that door to get in, so, I didn't see it. So I beeline it to the Cafe 80s.
Like, fucking run, feathers fly everywhere.
And I beat up a chicken man on the way.
Yeah.
And it takes me 30 minutes. But no, so I get there, and there's just like a mob of Martys and one Doc. Hanging out around
one lonesome Doc.
Yeah, not including the Christopher Lloyd impersonator that they had standing next to the DeLorean, but like one Doc cosplayer. So like I just see this. I'm like, okay, this must be the place to go. And yeah, so there's a DeLorean done up like the 2015 DeLorean. There's kind of a counter inspired by the Cafe 80s. They've got the tile floor. They've got the Wild Gunman, and they've got TV screens. Unfortunately, they didn't have like Michael Jackson, or Ronald Reagan, taking my order. But whatever.
It's only a mild failure.
Yeah. Ugh, they can't appreciate the subtleties of this movie.
Disaster.
Yeah.
Disaster's the one word that comes to mind.
I tweeted this.
Cafe 80s, more like Cafe Disaster.
More like
hashtag disaster.
That's all I got. Although speaking real quick, sorry.
No, go ahead.
There's a app. It's free called Jetpack. It's like a really fun game because of the anniversary of Back to the Future. I'm letting it load real quick, so I'm trying to fucking let's
Stretch.
have it.
Is it the same jetpack that was developed by Rare?
It's half brick, but what they did is they have a Back to the Future one.
Oh.
And so, real quick, you have the little guitar, you have the hat, you fly, whatever you catch.
Oh, it's a side scroller.
Yeah, and then one of the vehicles you can get in is the DeLorean, and the way you keep the game going is getting time. So that's a free little plug there. But anyway, it's free, and I know you're like the biggest Back to the Future fan.
I am.
And like they even
I have
changed
them on Laserdisc.
They even changed the little logo. We just got the hat on at the bottom of the
Oh,
thing.
that's cute.
It's a really fun game, and like they
Yeah.
have the classic version still, but I don't know how long it's going on. But yeah, you
Right,
get to
right.
ride the fucking DeLorean, and they have like the background, like you go by like the future with Jaws and all that kind of stuff. Just a lot of like little cool little subtle things.
Yeah. So I just randomly like got in this like kind of mob of Martys as I mentioned, and like there's nothing going on yet. So I'm just like sitting there like, oh that's cool.
It's a Marty Mosh. All right,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's a Marty Mash. The Marty Mash. It was a Hill Valley smash. It's terrible. So I'm sitting there, and I just happened to be standing right next to where the line eventually formed, like 2 minutes after I got there. Had I waited longer to talk to you at the image booth, I probably would have been shit out of luck. But like I just happened to be right there at the line, and they were like, okay, we're opening up the line, guys. And I was just like, okay, I'm walking in. And I ended up being like the fifth guy there waiting for the Pepsi. And then, like, they kept us in the line for, like, an hour. And I was like, well, thank God I didn't have anything to do today. Like, what's more important than that? Anyway, right? So they let us in.
I'm looking at the bottle right now. It's so fucking cool.
It is. It is so... It would probably look cooler if I hadn't drank the Pepsi. But I was like...
Like I said, just water, food coloring.
Yeah.
And then it never goes bad.
Yeah, I'll put some
Boom.
Earl Grey tea in there.
Yeah.
It's pretty dark tea.
Tea, Earl Grey, hot.
Yeah.
The tea. Not New York.
Nope.
No, sir.
Nope.
Oh, I know how to fool them.
Why don't you take a cab on Houston?
Ooh.
Hey, I'll catch the tea. You ain't no New Yorker. Get out of here.
You with your fucking New York Giants hat.
Yeah. They don't even play in New York. Which they don't. They're in Jersey. What the fuck's happening?
Hey.
No.
By the way, if I may take a quick moment since we're talking about Back to the Future and New York sports, fuck the Mets.
They are not Back to the Future fans, it looks like.
Yeah. I mean, so far, as of the recording of this, what they have...
They're playing right now.
Did they, yeah,
I don't know if it's over yet, but they were losing.
They won. They won last night, and I was like, "Fuck the Mets."
Dude, how insane is that that's a thing?
Right?
Like, it's that close.
When's the last time the Cubs won the World Series?
Like 1908? Yeah.
1908.
Wow, that's longer than the Sox.
107 years since they've won a World Series.
Yeah.
Lifetimes have happened.
At least 2.
But not Jack Thompson. Buddy of mine, his father is 104 years old.
So
actually,
so yeah, his whole lifetime.
He's not 107.
He has never seen the Cubs win the World Series.
Never mind. Yeah.
He did see the Dodgers in Brooklyn, though.
Yeah. So did my grandfather, to be fair.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. But my dad hasn't, and yet he and I both recognize the Dodgers as a New York team.
Yeah.
I mean, my dad still refers to the Mets as an expansion team.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, oh yeah. I was like, Dad, that's 5 years ago that they were the...
Do you know both the Mets and the Yankees have Little League teams that they like are the sponsors of? The Yankees, they're actually the Staten Island Yankees. And I'm like, fuck you fucking like self-righteous pricks.
You know the first time...
The Mets, they're the Brooklyn Cyclones or the Coney Island Cyclones
just because of
named after the roller coaster on Coney Island.
The emotion of playoff baseball is so strong, and it's such a great sport, and the playoffs just make it better. I always want to watch baseball movies. The first time I ever saw The Natural, anything from The Natural, was they played the last scene in Camden Yards during a night game, and it was the coolest fucking thing in the world because it's the home run where he shatters the light. More in the book, he strikes out, punches a man in the face, he shits himself. I tell this is the truth, and then a kid goes, "Say it ain't so, say it ain't so, Roy," which is the the classic "Say it ain't so, Joe" from the Black Sox scandal.
I'm going to go ahead and
he
say
cries.
it. Better ending in the book.
Yeah.
Anytime that a man shits himself.
Robert Redford does not strike out, and he hits a home run, and it's fantastic.
Mm-hmm. And what's her name with the hat halo?
Iris, a.k.a. Glenn Close.
Yeah.
That's my favorite scene. Like the home run
It's
where
a
he
beautiful
shatters
scene.
is fantastic, but
So
just
well
real
lit.
quick, he's in a slump. He's like sucking. He can't hit a ball to save his life. He's the greatest baseball player of all time, and she sees that he's in town in Wrigley Field. So she goes to the game and she stands up, and the guy goes, "Hey, sit down," because he's like standing in her way, and like the light hits her, and she, because he's dating at the time Kim Basinger, all in black,
Who
very
was the devil.
very evil, blah blah. And
Not very subtle.
And the thing that's fucking awesome about that scene is he looks and he doesn't see her. He just catches a glare, and he looks. And he just sells it as kind of like, okay, that's weird. He gets back, and there's no this charge up moment or anything. He gets back into the box. The Newman score is fantastic. Hits a home run and shatters the clock. And that scene, I'm talking about how much I cry during movies. That scene makes me cry more than the final shot where he hits the game winning home run to win the pennant in the end, because it's like he fucking just knocks all that shit. Also, when he knocks the cover off the ball is fantastic. Hey, knock the cover off the ball. Yeah, and then he does it, which is awesome. So watch The Natural.
You mean like The Sandlot?
Yeah. Indeed.
Exactly. But it was a lot of fun. I was just fucking bananas. Now that I'm thinking about all the New York is kind of our home con, I guess. Yeah, more so than like San Diego
Or Baltimore.
They're awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, awesome could grow on us.
Awesome's grow in.
They've only done 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
every time it's bigger than the last.
exponentially, It's amazing to sit there. I wish I could have gone to the first one just so I could like really see the growth.
We
But,
were at
like,
the first one for like 20 minutes.
Yeah, not that
but
long.
like the second one, my first one, everyone was like, "Oh, this place where they're giving everyone their badges and stuff. That was the entire con.
Yeah.
like that little room." And I was like, "Really?"
It was basically exhibitor booths, like comic seller booths, plus like a couple artist tables.
And then this past year was like fucking the like
Entire.
where they have the car expo in Washington D.C. here.
It's growing,
and
man.
I was like, damn.
Yeah.
So
growing.
can't wait to see how big it gets.
It's like the Blob.
Every time it
McQueen.
just eats and
Yeah, it's gonna get Steve McQueen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Poor bastard.
and then it's gonna get remade 30 years later.
Yeah, with better special effects.
Yeah.
Can you guys do me a favor? I was in JMU today, and my sister was like, "Say that I'm cool on the podcast, and I'll give you $1. I bet I can get each of you guys $1 if you want it." So on the count of 3, can we just say in your most monotone voice, "Denise is cool"? And we're gonna do like the Lethal Weapon thing. Is it on 3 or go? So just 1, 2, 3, go, and we'll say Denise is cool. Okay,
so
ready?
1, 2, 3, go.
1, 2, 3,
and then-
go.
And then okay.
That's very good. That was like Lethal Weapon. Very good.
I've
So-
never even seen.
So 1, 2, 3, go.
Denise is cool.
Almost fucked that up.
Yeah,
Almost fucked that
That's
up.
right. So I can get you guys each $1 for
All
saying
right,
Yeah.
cool.
Pay up, Denise.
Yeah.
Yeah, give me pay for my gummy Coke bottle
Yeah.
addiction.
To be fair, she was there at Trainwreck and she seemed cool.
yeah.
She was.
What was it Man from Uncle?
Oh yeah, that's right. She saw Man
Yeah,
from Uncle.
yeah,
She's
yeah.
all about the Henry Cavill. She sent me a text like a little while ago, and she goes, You breathe the same air as my love," and I was like, "Who?" And then she went in parentheses, "Not Channing Tatum," because that's like her all time.
Right.
And I was like,
He's in
"Who?"
Hail Caesar as like a
Who? Yeah, dude, that shot of him like with the guy like
legs in
like
his
that,
face.
yeah. But anyway, she goes, "Cavill." No, she just wrote "fat," and I go, "Oh, Cavill," because Fat Cavill, the whole thing. And so she was so pissed that like, even though we didn't see him in San Diego, that we were in a room where we possibly breathe the same air as Henry Cavill. To be fair, I fucking love Henry Cavill.
He's cool.
Yeah.
I saw him when I was there.
Did you?
Yeah, because you went to
Whoa.
Hall H. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
You were there
Yeah.
for what, 2 days?
Josh with the long dick status.
Oh
here.
yeah.
Yeah. The LD.
Obviously.
Yeah.
As he's checking his phone, like
Yeah.
fuck you, of course.
Yeah, of course. He kind of looks like Steve Jobs.
He
with
does.
the collar.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
he's
does.
got like a turtleneck going on.
Yeah. She's not my daughter.
Yeah.
Jesus, I hope I don't have one.
Yeah.
Here, do this with your fingers and your chin. The classic Jobs.
Ah, it's Steve Jobs. If Christian Bale played Steve Jobs, it would look like that.
Oh man, that comes out on Friday.
If skinny Chris Evans.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm very excited for this film.
Yeah.
Dude, everyone, Jeff Johns and Brian Michael Bendis, like tweeted to Seth Rogen how fucking awesome he was, and he was like, "Thanks, man."
Yeah, well, Bendis is a huge Sorkin fan. He's like, West Wing is one of the greatest shows of all time. I'm like, well, like half of the West Wing
Yeah.
is like a good show of some time. But
It's a damn fine show.
yeah, I enjoy it for the first 4 seasons.
Yeah.
But it was no newsroom.
Ooh.
Yeah, you're right, because
It was good.
yeah.
I like the newsroom.
I don't even
Yeah.
know what just happened.
I don't know. No.
It was a thing.
Yeah.
I was there.
Did you guys know Rambo had an animated series that ran for 65 episodes?
Yeah, do you know the
Yeah.
Toxic Avenger had an animated
Yes.
series?
Yes.
So did Attack of the Killer Tomatoes.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Rambo.
And RoboCop.
Yes.
RoboCop too, yeah. I've never seen the Rambo one. I've
And
seen
Back
RoboCop.
to the Future.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Bill and Ted.
Yes. Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Ninja Turtles, yeah.
Batman the Animated Series?
They had an animated series?
Indeed.
What was I'm trying to think what the most incongruous... Oh! Godzilla 97 had an animated series. It only
Yes.
lasted a season.
Yeah.
It's what it explains what happens to the egg that hatches at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Joins the Monster Squad.
The greatest Godzilla movie.
They've announced King Kong versus Godzilla for 2020.
Yeah, I'm looking
Yep.
forward to it.
That's when Ultraman's going to
Sam
make his
just got
tag
a
team
boner.
appearance, and he's going to fucking fuck both of them up, and it's going to be Ultraman
If
series.
anything, it would be Jet Jaguar, who's basically their Ultraman analog.
Yeah.
Could be
But we want
Ultraman and Jet Jaguar.
Yeah.
The team
Tag
up.
team.
Jet Jaguar's like, let's be friends. And he's like, no. He grows. He just like fucking punts him across the fucking earth. He's
Did you play Ultraman or Jet Jaguar?
Did I play it?
Would you?
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
If asked.
Although it should be a Japanese man.
So I'm not asking if it would be correct. I mean, let's face it, it's probably going to get whitewashed.
Who's your guys?
Like Gods and what was it?
God's
Monsters?
Generals.
Well,
real quick, who is 0 to 100? Real quick. Who is your favorite kaiju? So you got like Godzilla, King Kong, Ghidorah, Gigan,
Mechagodzilla.
Mechagodzilla, absolutely. Space Godzilla.
The guys from Pacific Rim.
Yeah.
If you can remember any of their names, because I sure
They just call
can't.
them kaiju. I
Well,
think.
no, each one has a specific code name.
Yeah,
I
because one of them's like
classification.
Hammerhead or something.
Yeah, because he looked like a hammerhead.
Yeah.
Is that the one that gets like sliced open?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one's metal.
That's like the only one that I remember. Cthulhu.
Yeah. Mantarok. King Caesar, of course.
King Caesar!
Is it a gigantic ape?
Yeah, he's a gigantic dog ape that, like, the entire movie, Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla, the alien monkey men are trying to... It sounds really dumb when I explain it, but it's fucking awesome. But still kind of dumb.
It sounds really dumb when I explain it, but when you watch it, it's only kind of dumb.
Yeah.
And very entertaining.
Yeah, still pretty dumb, but that should have been my fucking Halloween pick.
Yeah, I have them all on my computer.
Yeah.
They watched like 3 of them.
They spend the entire movie trying to prevent the awakening of King Caesar, and he awakens because, of course, and
Because they can't prevent shit.
yeah, and then Mechagodzilla kicks his ass in like 5 minutes. So, but yeah, he's like a giant dog monkey thing.
What's the giant turtle looking one?
Gamera.
Gamera.
That one.
The one that does the uneven bars in Japan.
Sure.
It's there's a gif of him like spinning around on a bar.
Yeah.
It's from the Gamera episode of
Mystery Science.
Theater
Yeah,
2000.
absolutely.
Okay.
Do you guys? Is it Jet Jaguar? Because it kind of looks like Jack Nicholson by way of Ultraman.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I guess.
I'll go with Mechagodzilla.
Yeah.
Good choice.
So we got a mech, a nuclear turtle, whatever the fuck
A
Jake's
robot
was.
thing.
Robot Jack Nicholson.
Oh, Jesus.
I honestly, it's
And you, Sam?
it would probably be King Caesar because
Come here, Caesar. I want
And Dog Monkey.
yeah, because he sleeps all day, wakes up and gets his ass kicked. It's kind of an analog of my life.
Well, no, really, don't sell yourself short.
I'm not. But the
He's selling himself low.
yeah, yeah. But I guess in conclusion, go check out fucking Everest, The Martian. Don't stay away from Bridge of Spies with a 10-foot pole.
Yeah.
Actually, make that a 20-foot pole.
Go see The Walk.
Yeah,
Sure.
maybe.
Don't vomit during it.
Yeah.
Appreciate Godzilla 98.
Well, just Godzilla. Just go watch some Godzilla movies. Do us proud.
Go watch Rambo.
Yeah.
First Blood?
All of them.
All
of them.
Yeah.
Which rank the Rambo movies. First Blood.
First Blood. And it's just silence afterwards. They're like, there's 3 other... No, First Blood. First Blood.
Blood first.
First it.
Do you prefer the original ending?
Of him...
Or he?
Well, here's the thing.
Derailed.
First things first, I'll eat your brains, and then I start rocking gold teeth with chains.
First things first, I'm the realist.
I'm the realist. Here's the thing. The original ending for First Blood, which is on like all the editions now. Yeah, it's not the ending. Because
Obviously not the canonical ending.
Because guess what? There are sequels, Christopher.
What?
He takes the gun that Trotman has, and he shoots himself in the gut. He's like, "Bleh!" Which they show that scene in Rambo 4, like during this kind of
In
like
the flashback,
nightmares.
or
Those
yeah.
flashbacks are fantastic, and again, the only one that's still undirected. In the book, Trotman blows his head off with a shotgun.
Yeah, it sneaks up behind him, doesn't
Good
he?
job. Which I knew that he died, so it wasn't a thing. But on the audiobook, there's a essay that David Morrell does that's really fascinating about the creation of Rambo, the subsequent movies and stuff, and how he feels about the movies, which is all fine. He wrote the novelizations for all of them, but he's like, 4 hadn't come out yet when he did it. He's like, 3 got a little carried away. Like, he's like, that's because it's not
single-handedly drives the Soviets out of Afghanistan.
He's like, that's not necessarily what I was trying to do, but okay. Because, again, First Blood is totally different. It's its own monster. It's a very different everything. Anyway, but people who didn't know that Rambo dies in the book or the original ending for the first movie, he spoils the book in the audiobook during the essay, So,
that's a problem with like forwards.
well, what they should have done is been like, hey, stay tuned at the end. I'll recount what happens and tell you why this character, But I understand why they put it in there. But I don't know, maybe it's whatever because the book's interesting so far. I mean, I haven't finished it, but I just I've known of that ending.
They kind of expand on it. They make Brian Dennehy's character, the sheriff, a Korean war vet.
Yeah, he's a Korean war vet, and it's something where they do a scene of Rambo, and they do a scene of Trestle, and so it's back and forth. So you're watching, and you're going, either are they both good guys? They both bad guys? One's a good guy, one's a bad guy. It's not. There's a definite shift in the movie and in the book as well. But it's fascinating because
you're instantly sympathetic for Rambo in the film.
Yeah, I mean they go out of their way to make him the hero, where in the book it's a little bit more what's going on here kind of thing. So very interesting. And the first 3 are on Netflix.
How's the iOS game?
Terrible.
Okay.
Unbelievably terrible.
All right.
A fucking disaster.
Such a catastrophe.
Yeah.
Are you gonna tweet about it?
Live tweet playing it.
Yeah, I'm gonna live tweet. Hey, guess what? If you want to melee somebody, you better do it 10 seconds before you see him, because when you try to hit him with a knife, when you're supposed to hit him, you die. You go, and your hands go. But one of these days, when it's like $5, I'm gonna buy the 360 game, the rail shooter. It's gonna be terrible, but I don't give a shit. So,
right.
I started playing the Telltale Back to the Future game. And overall, like, I'll go ahead and give it the thumbs up. But like, this is like, I started playing it like right after hanging out with my friend Mike, who had Until Dawn, where like your choices actually matter. And then I start playing the Telltale. This is the first Telltale game that I've ever played. Apparently, a lot of them
I am
like
so
this.
sorry for you.
But like
Sam and Max.
oh yeah,
It's a good one.
But like so it's just a point and click, and like you move around, but it's like very like you have to do this, and then like you interact with someone, and it gives you like 4 different choices of what you can say, and I'm like, oh, okay, this is neat, and I select this thing, and he says it,
asshole.
and then it gives me yeah, exactly, and then it gives me 3 different choices of what to say. The 3 remaining things that were there, and I'm like, okay, I'll say this one, and it's like, and it says it, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Then it gives me 2 things, and it like literally just narrows it down to like, okay, this is what you were supposed to say, or
that's stupid,
or like you're supposed to say it all, but you get to choose what order you say
It's
it
actually a lot kinder than some of their other games do.
in. Yeah.
Sam and Max.
You know what's one of the greatest
That
point and
aren't
click games ever?
The Sam and Max
He-Man.
series.
Indiana Jones and the Fate of Atlantis.
Yeah.
It's fucking awesome.
Oh, you've got the sucker punch button.
The sucker punch button. That's all you need. Go push,
Nice.
and they're done.
Much like the movie Sucker Punch.
Yes.
I'm a big fan. But yeah, so I'm kind of disappointed in the fact that nothing I do makes any difference.
Nothing is over.
What are you playing it on?
Steam.
Okay, I don't know. Are there Steam achievements for it?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I haven't run across any, and I'm probably about done with episode 1.
Do you play for achievements?
No.
Okay, well, I just know that one of the dialogues you have with
Check
Doc,
right now.
if you make the entire conversation the same as one of the lines from the film, you get an achievement for it. So if Steam has achievements...
They're like, ding, you watched the movie.
Oh
Ding.
boy!
You're a fucking nerd.
Oh boy!
I bet you have a Pepsi Perfect, don't you, you
I
fucking
do.
turd.
Sitting here wearing my Marty 2015 hat, drinking my Pepsi Perfect. I can't put the hat on because I have my headphones on.
Yeah.
Fuck everything. My life is terrible.
Fuck the world.
Hey, disaster.
Yeah. Attitude like that, you're never gonna change the world.
Fuck the world. Hey, Sam, I heard you're going to Burma. You bringing any weapons?
No.
You ain't changing nothing. That was a scene from Rambo.
Yeah.
Also known as Rambo
Scene.
4, also known as John Rambo, also known as Rambo: The Fight Continues.
Also known as Rambo to Hell and Back.
Is it
Also-
really? I didn't know that one.
Also,
Certain
Rambo harder.
territories. Yeah.
We are basically. I'm in Rambo mode because we watched 3
Uh-huh.
last night, but I am so fucking psyched for the possibility of Last Blood, which who knows when that's going to be made. But
No, there are no achievements on Steam.
Mm.
At least for
Fuck it.
episode 1. Who knows if there's...
what if in Last Blood they had that? It's like a sequel mixed with Del Toro from Sicario.
Oh yeah.
Because supposedly he's fighting the Mexican cartel in
Yeah.
in Last Blood.
It makes sense because the way you'll find out, Chris.
Good.
You'll find out.
Yes,
Will I? Because 4's not on Netflix, apparently.
I got it.
I
Oh,
got
okay.
it on iTunes.
I still haven't gotten your Lethal Weapon, so... who
Oh, that's
knows?
right. Yeah.
All right. Well, you guys got anything to add?
I don't.
Nah.
No.
This
Cool.
has been a longer episode than we've been doing the
Well,
last
we've
couple
had
weeks.
we've had
We
a lot
had
to
a lot
talk
to
about.
talk
We had a
about.
lot to
True.
unload, to unpack.
To unload on your faces.
Yeah. Just top of the mountain. It's on site. Anyway, sorry guys. This has been another episode of Catching Up. I'm Sam,
I'm Chris.
I'm Jake.
I'm Josh.
and we'll see you guys next week.
Bye. Thank you very much.
Good night, Eric Bana.
Sorry.
Damn, that beat was dope.